for this, because it sounds like you know a lot on the background about what's been going on with Cernovich behind the scenes. Can you give us just some insight on that?
Yeah. So Mike Cernovich was originally Alan Dershowitz's lawyer. And Alan Dershowitz is the lawyer for Jeffrey Epstein. And of course, Dershowitz has had a very sordid past. He was the lawyer for O.J. Simpson. He was a lawyer for, what was the guy who was indicated in pedophilia? He was a famous director. He was married to Sharon Tate.
Way back in the day? Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Yeah. You're talking about the Polish director
Roman Polanski. Yep, he was a lawyer for him as well. I mean, he's defended pedophiles since forever. But so Cernovich was his lawyer, and so people used to call Cernovich out about having, Cernovich did a movie called Hoaxed, and Alan Dershowitz is in that movie. And there's pictures of Cernovich and Dershowitz together, but Cernovich would always try to play it down once the whole Epstein case broke and Dershowitz's involvement in there, because she was outed by this woman who supposedly was sex trafficked by Jeffrey Epstein. Her name was Virginia Roberts, which her now name is Virginia Griffrey. She's married. And she said that she's been trafficking, like she got taken from Mar-a-Lago by Ghislaine Maxwell, who's the daughter of Robert Maxwell, which there you go with the whole Zionist Mossad connection. And she was trafficked by Jeffrey Epstein, and she had had been molested by both Dershowitz and Epstein. Epstein was in the room. I'm trying to be like PC for YouTube. Sure. But she was in the room at the same time where Epstein was getting a favor. Dershowitz was in the room just talking to Epstein nonchalant during that time period. You're doing like nothing. As far
as language, you're doing like platinum. Don't worry about it. You can let loose a little bit more. You're fine.
Okay. So, she's been, there's pictures of her on the internet with Prince Andrew. She's the most widely known person when it comes to the Epstein-Trump-Clinton connection. Okay. So Cernovich goes around and as Dershowitz's lawyer and tries to slander Griffrey and makes it out like, well, these claims aren't true. Dershowitz never done anything wrong. Any massage that Dershowitz got from Epstein was a woman above age, and it was consensual, a therapeutic massage. And Virginia Roberts, Griffrey, is easy. That's why she's making these claims, pretty much, that she's a slut.
Okay.
And she wants money. And none of this ever happened. So fast forward to later on, where more people started pressing Cernovich about it. And he started getting really mad on Twitter, blocking people and stuff like that. But eventually, I guess him and Dershowitz found a way
basically them saying, you're not totally clean. You have your own like skeletons in your closet, right? Those types of things.
Yes. And so Cernovich cut ties with Dershowitz supposedly,
right,
and was saying stuff like that, like actually turning against him. So they say. I don't know if that's true or not. That's just the image that he put.
But that's something people should research. What's Cernovich's current relationship with Dershowitz, and let's look at it on a timeline. If there are any interactions, to understand the motives of this like disclosure of the court case. Okay, yes. Continue. Okay.
So now they claim that they hate each other. I doubt that. They've been friends forever. Dershowitz is like Cernovich's mentor when it comes to law. So I really, really doubt that. So they petitioned to get the Jane Doe's names pretty much out there in the general public for them to unseal the Epstein court documents. Okay, which, trust me, as a researcher, I would like to see that. Mm-hmm. But for Dershowitz and Cernovich to want to do that, they want to dox the Jane Does supposedly, possibly so they could harass them, because the other Jane Does have been harassed before, like Virginia Roberts, Griffrey. We don't know.
This is great.
But they're going around claiming this is a win.
John, this is like cutting edge. Like, these are great points that you're making as far as the gray areas and whether we should be excited and what are the... Okay, so, all right, cool. Keep going, because this is all news to me.
So they're going around tonight on Twitter saying that we're heroes. You know, Cernovich is doing a live stream, which, you know, you're going over that they're the reason why Epstein is now arrested and going to be brought back upon trial. Now they're coming out that they're the heroes out of all this, when they've been knee-deep involved in this. And so is Mark Randanza, the free speech lawyer, who was Alex Jones's lawyer. He was Cernovich's lawyer to try to get the Jane Doe's names released, as well as the court documents on Epstein released.
Okay.
So there's another tie-in there too, and it never ends.
John, I just want, because people might not have seen the live chat. You go by the name John Brisson, is that correct?
Yes.
Do you have your own content on your own channel, or do you cover this in your own way? What do you?
Yeah, Jesse. I have a YouTube channel. We've read the documents.
Oh, awesome.
I've also been on numerous podcasts about conspiracy. Billy Ray Valentine's show, The Higher Side Chats. For about a year and a half now. I've been researching conspiracy since I became, I hate using the term woke in 2008 when Alex Jones woke me up. Okay. But I've been following your work and Matthew North's work for about a year now.
Awesome. I've been
a fan too as well.
Well, this is the type of stuff that I lack, is just getting down and dirty, in depth. How do I find We Have the Documents? Where do I go for that?
Just on YouTube, just search We've Read the Documents.
We've read the documents.
Pop up. Okay. If they haven't blacklisted me yet.
Yeah. Let me just pull you up just so people have context, so they know where to get the information, like what the context is of who's speaking, and then go right back into it, because I don't want to slow you down at all. This is perfect.
There's also one other thing, too, is Steve Bannon, he's been part of the Council for National Policy, which Matthew North did release his documents to cover that, and Josh Reeves covered that a long time ago in his Secret Right movies. He met with Epstein late last year. And so when Cernovich was pressed about this, he was pressed about it by Luke Radowski or WeAreChange. Whatever you think about Luke still asked him about it, okay?
Okay.
And many people have asked him about it on Twitter, and when Cernovich, does live calls and chats and everything. And he still, to this day, won't it. He kind of goes back and forth about it. He finally did admit it one time, but then he said it was fake news, that it didn't happen. Even though there's pictures, it's widely reported, it makes sense. I think Bannon went to meet with Epstein to get some dirt or maybe kiss the ring. I don't know. But that is something that Cernovich has been very dodgy about. And anybody who tries to hold his feet to the fire, he just dances on.
Yeah.
So I don't really know. I'd love to, maybe if you have any opinion why that may be, I don't know. But Cernovich does have a relationship with Bannon. I mean, they did a stream together, which Cernovich was very happy about that, and seemed to get along with Bannon. Ali Alexander was in the chat of that stream. I confronted them both about their ties for the Council for National Policy. And
did they react?
Ali Alexander's tied to... Go ahead. Jesse, I'm sorry.
Did they react? Did they give you anything?
Oh, yeah. Ali Alexander got me blocked and then tweeted on me afterwards that I was a stalker, because I do his relationship with J. Kenneth Blackwell, who was also in the CMP, who rigged the votes for Trump to win. Oh, not Trump, Bush to win in Ohio in 2004, and may have rigged the votes for Trump to win in Pennsylvania in 2016. But yes, he was very, very upset. Okay. They both were. They both actually retweeted me.
Hi there, Sunshine has a great question, and you kind of answered it a little bit. The question is, why is this happening now? Right? I mean, that's the big question. It's like, after all this time, would you say it just came to a boiling point? Is it Cernovich's way to show that he's still credible? Is it a disclosure game to keep the Trump Republic afloat? Or is it like somebody asserted in the chat, they said this is to bring down Trump, which I find hard to believe. It seems to be a piece of meat that they're throwing us on some level. What's your speculation on the overall motivation? I mean, it seems like you have a pretty well-rounded view of it.
I really don't have an answer, Jesse. It really doesn't make any sense to me. I mean, we know that the Q people are going to jump all over this.
Right.
And the MAGA wearing people as well, and they're going to say, well, Trump's going after those pedophiles, which he's not. Trump is very connected to Jeffrey Epstein, so that doesn't really make much sense on that regard. I mean, is something even going to come of this?
So here's a question.
That's my question.
Just slowing down within the points that you're making. If this bubbles up and gets more mainstream coverage, maybe Trump would be put in a position where he has to address it, where he would have to disavow.
Well, they say that's why Pizzagate came out. Even though I'm Pizzagate denier, I do believe in it. But they do say it came out because they couldn't go after Trump and Epstein because both Clinton and Trump are connected to Epstein.
Right.
So they couldn't do that. So Roger Stone released Pizzagate to go after Clinton and to torpedo her, kind of like the CMP versus the CFR.
I understand what you're saying. That's a bit overgeneralized that he released it, but definitely the WikiLeaks, Cernovich, Posobiec, Steve Pachenik, Jerome Corsi, Joe Biggs, that whole, right? Lift the Veil, Random Rants of Ryan. Pizzagate's huge. That is more appropriately called Pedogate if we actually want to make progress. Okay.
Yeah, if we're talking about Franklin scandal or McMartin preschool or any of that, yes, it's more than just Pizzagate in and of itself. And you're right. Roger Stone is only a cog in the wheel. There are others. Alex Jones, being CMP, other people that you mentioned. So, yeah, it is more than just Roger Stone. But it's kind of like a convenience thing. So I don't know why this is happening now. I really don't. I don't know. And I don't know where it's going to go. I mean, I doubt Epstein's going to flip on anyone.
Right.
I really do. So
what about just the fact that it keeps the right and left thing going, that people are only going to see... They're only going to see what they want to see. For instance, these days, depending on who you ask, all Jews are pedophiles, all Catholics are pedophiles, all... it just keeps the ball moving. It keeps the ball out of our hands, keeping people fractured. And again, people are just going to see what they want to see. Is that fair to say?
Very much so. That's how it's all. You're right about that. Everybody on the left is going to say that they're going to have something where they're going to blame Trump, but for all the wrong reasons. The hashtag resist type aspect of it. And the right are going to be vindicated because they don't see Trump in Epstein. They just see Clinton. So Trump's going after Epstein, who's a pedophile and a sex trafficker, and he's going to go after the Clintons because of this. So it further divides the left and right, and no one gets to the true facts that they're all involved in this to some degree, depending on the person. So that's what doesn't make sense. And all of this is why they're going after Epstein now. I don't know. But I do agree with your take on that it will... Because that's all I saw on Twitter tonight. No one was going with the facts. Anybody who brings up that Trump's involved with Epstein, they go... Well,
it's all teams. It's teams at this point. It's about teams. I'm going to read some of the chat here in a second just to get your take on that. But riff on that for a second.
Yeah, but you're 100% right. It's all about rah, go team. I mean, when you have people who are defending Trump, he has no involvement in it at all. The Republicans have no involvement at all. The Democrats are going down. For the left, it's the exact opposite.
That's in quotes. That's what this person's mentality is. Trump has no involvement, right? Just to clarify.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. I mean, that's what you see when you go on Twitter. The right, the right pundits or the people who follow the right, like Victory of the Light or Jordan Stather, the people who follow them, they're going to all say Trump had no involvement. It was only Clinton. Trump's going after the pedophiles, he's going after Epstein and stuff like that. The left are saying the exact opposite, that Trump's going down because of Epstein. Clinton's perfectly fine. There's no facts. No one's stating facts. They're all stating conjecture, and no one's doing research. They're all stating what their favorite YouTuber said. And that's a problem. And that's been a problem. You've talked about this on your own self, your own streams, that that's what many people are doing, is they're just parroting. No one's actually reading the court documents.
It's all about
actually.
Think about it in this frame of mind. It's not about actual journalism anymore. It's about just market demand. And the debate is, well, can you say that it's about truth if it's about teams and it's about this side is winning or that side is winning, or you have your favorite personality? Cernovich is not a great example, but he is an example. Look how messy it is. Look how dirty it is. It's not black or white. It's not Clinton's and Epstein is going down. Like, this cuts directly to the heart of the issue. Like, is Trump a Zionist? Is Trump a Jesuit? Has Trump been on the Lolita Express? And are we going to get that research? Are people going to be fair, especially leading into an election? The main thing that an election does is it boils down people into the lesser of two evils. So this is perfect for the lesser of two evils. You could point to the Clintons or you could point to Trump about equally in this situation. So what do you do?
100%, Jesse.
What do we do?
I mean, you're right. I mean, you just continues to try to speak the truth and try to get down to the facts and say that they're both screwed. I mean, I voted for Trump in 2016. I bought into the lies, even though that I should have known good and well that he was connected.
Okay.
And I regret it to this day.
So here's the most pointed comment I've seen challenging you as an authority or as an expert. Brandon Parker says, why do you think Trump is involved with Epstein? He kicked him out of one of his clubs for propositioning.
That's not true.
Okay.
That's commonly misreported in James Patterson's book, Dirty Rich.
Okay.
It's a quote in there. There's no real source for that quote, that he kicked a person out of he kicked Epstein out of Mar-a-Lago once he found out that sex trafficking was occurring and everything. We don't know that is true. When Virginia Giuffre's lawyer, I forgot her name.
Filthy Rich, correct?
His name.
Or no?
Yeah, Filthy Rich. That was it. When Derek Brose asked Virginia Giuffre's lawyer, and I've forgotten his name, whether or not that allegation was specifically true, he said it was not. He could not verify it, and the Palm Beach Police Department could not verify it.
Okay, give us that source one more time, because that's critical.
Derek Brose, his Conscious Resistance Network channel, he interviewed Virginia Giuffre's lawyer, and I cannot remember his name at this time. But he mentioned that he did not know, where that rumor had come from. He tried to do research about it and could not substantiate it. And when he contacted the West Palm Beach Police Department, they also could not substantiate those rumors that Trump kicked out Epstein out of Mar-a-Lago.
I'm going to need to bear down into that. I mean, it's not critical that I get that deep into it, but for the point of why this is coming out now, and will it fall back on to the Democrats or the Republicans or both? Frankly, all I see is this just creates a vacuum, not necessarily for somebody like Joe Biden, but theoretically, if she were to run, Michelle Obama or whoever, this is just basically playing into capitalism needs to go down, because both the Clintons and Donald Trump are seen as capitalists. So, from my opinion, this plays into the socialist agenda, throwing people under the bus. I know that's a little bit too 5D for people, but that's what I would look at. So, okay, one more time, I'm going to track down, where do we find Derek Brose? How do we vet you on that? We don't know the name that he interviewed. Is it on YouTube?
It is on YouTube. I will get you that exact link.
Okay.
I will find it. His YouTube channel is The Conscious Resistance. Derek Brose did a documentary on Jeffrey Epstein. It was one of the episodes where he was interviewing Virginia Giuffre's lawyer.
Okay.
I will definitely email you that.
Perfect.
When I find that exact interview.
And yeah, he does appear to be a new ager, but we're talking about testimony. We're talking about something specific being challenged.
He is. As myself, as a Christian, you have to look through everything of a lens of discernment to be able to find truth from lies. But that being said, I mean, my main case to research is, you ever heard of the Finders case?
No.
That happened in the late 80s. Okay, so Derek Broze also is the main researcher on that. Me and him had a lot of disagreements on that, because Derek Broze kind of was pushing the satanic panic narrative in his Finders documentary, and I was like, whoa. That's exactly what they want you to push, man. Like, it's ridiculous. But so I do like Derek's work. I do have that caution about him that he is a New Ager. But his stuff on Epstein, I can back up and verify myself, and it
helps
true.
Testing any of these people on these are called, in my opinion, these are called strongholds. You know, people are building conclusions or assumptions based on the right and left dialectic right now, and that is my main concern heading into 2020. Is what do we do? I mean, like, what do we do about people who have the illusion of progress if we are actually regressing on a given topic? I don't think that they're normalizing pedophilia with this case. That's not a red flag for me yet. I think Dershowitz and I think you're highlighting really, really good points that we need to look into. I am no expert on these topics by any means. So let me just skim the comments one more time. There was somebody who had a lot of opinions that I didn't really get anything off on, so let me read her comments. She's coming from a different point of view. Let me explain what is about to go down. Evidence will drop. Trump will have two choices to either step down or be impeached with all info public. Pence will then step down, which will make Pelosi president. I think that's a bit extreme. What do you think about that?
Yeah, that's a little too much. But I mean, Trump is the Council for National Policy's president, just as much as Reagan was, and the Franklin scandal did not take down Reagan.
Right.
And it is larger than Epstein to some degree, or at least equal to it. So I don't think that Trump is going to go down for this. It's possible. I just don't see it.
Play devil's advocate with me, though. Like, you know, like the New York Times and that crowd is getting really desperate, and this is their like last desperate play to smear him or guilt by association. What kind of play do you think we'll get in the mainstream media? Because right now, maybe I'm missing something. There were only like 3 articles when I looked about Cernovich and Jeffrey Epstein. Maybe it's blowing up now, but I was not seeing a lot of pings in the mainstream media on this.
I think the mainstream media has to be careful, Jesse, because of Epstein's involvement to Clinton.
Yeah.
So it's very difficult for. That's the thing is, I don't
all
know
her
how
people
they're going to go after.
Are pay to play, and all her people are still in positions of power, right? So
yes,
so many people are implicated via the Clintons. Yeah, fair.
And Trump is. And everybody always talks about Little St. James. You know, Jeffrey Epstein did have residences in New York that were Les Wexner's, and Trump's involvement in that. You know, and also if you look at Virginia Giuffre says she was trafficked in her map on her allegations in a court document or suit against Dershowitz. One of those places is what's the casino place in New Jersey? Jersey City, right?
Atlantic
the place
City?
where Trump had his casino at. Atlantic City, there you go, yes. That's
Boardwalk
also
Empire.
a place that is on the map. Mm-hmm. As well as everybody always talks about Lolita Express. Trump only had one flight of Lolita Express, and it was with Epstein's brother. However, you know, Trump had his own private plane. Actually, you might find this interesting, and I'll send you the documents. I actually have it. I got a Maximum Golf article that was scrubbed from the internet that had to wait on eBay until it actually got up for sale for months, searching for it, and I bought it. And it talks about Epstein and Trump, and there's pictures of them together, and how this girl, the author said later on that this girl that flew on the flight on Trump's private plane, because remember, Trump had a private plane, Clinton did not. And so they flew Epstein, Trump, and this girl who was underage but made to look older, flew on this plane, okay? Trump's plane to Mar-a-Lago, all right? And at the end of the article, it talks about Trump sees like a young socialite, okay? And then so then Trump mentions there's nothing finer than first-class pussy. Okay? And then at the end of the article, it's so creepy, Jesse. It said, I got to look it up. I'll get you the exact quote on it. But it says, like, you know, according to that, Trump would have made, in America's eyes, Trump would have made one hell of a president. And now he's president. And his article's like from 2001. So if you look at,
as I've said in the past, he's the perfect weapon against capitalism. I mean, I think he's making the right moves. I mean, in some regards, but Trump as a symbol is what we're talking about. The golden shellacked hotels, the luxury, the gaudiness. As a symbol, he has helped. In correlation with Bernie Sanders, they scooped up all of these confused young people with a spoon in the 2016 election, and they said free stuff, you know, on one side, and they said Donald Trump on the other side. That was, in my opinion, that was a weapon. Not speaking to Donald Trump's individual personality and the choices that he's making, but him as a symbol. Certainly, that has been played, and it continues to be played heading into the 2020 election, as it should be, right? As everybody should expect.